Visual Caffeine. We back. We on the ground. We moving. We shaking. This time we live in BK. We're here on the ground at BierWax. Shout outs to BierWax. If you haven't been to BierWax and you're right around the way, you need to come through. But I got an esteemed guest. This is actually a comrade of mine, good brother who I have the privilege of calling a friend, the brother Ray West, man. How you doing, man?
Brother, always love, JR, always love. I'm great.
So Ray West is actually one of the co-founders of the label and the brand Red Apples 45, along with AGDITC, and there's a lot of family attached to this, man. Yo, Ray, man, right off the cuff, let's talk about the inspiration that garnered up Red Apples. Like, what made you say, yo, this is an idea I want to activate and put out to the world as Red Apples 45? What's some of the inspiration behind it?
I think majority of it comes from being a collector myself. I loved records. I loved collecting records. And I've been DJing my whole life and started making beats and collecting beats, you know, collecting a body of work that I just had when my path crossed with AG and we started making all these songs. It was like this, I put my collector mind and combined with the creations and really was about trying to make like physical pieces of art, a way to share like a lifetime's worth of work. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, man, nah, it's dope because my connection directly to Red Apples, Ray West actually put AG onto a lot of my work and my catalog, etc. And one day I get this tweet, not an Instagram message, not a Facebook message, a tweet from AG, DITC, and, you know, hit me up basically letting me know he was aware of what I was doing and more so wanted to connect and build. So when he sent that tweet, at first I thought it was a joke for a split second, but when I called the number and he answered, man, we got to build, and that first session, we got some work done, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about some of the projects and just, like, I guess your perspective of how you look at the production of these projects. You have a very unique production style that I feel like if I would describe it, I would say less is more. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about some of the projects that came out on Red Apples, some of the things that, you know, kept the battery in your back.
Yes.
And yeah.
A lot of them, it is a less is more. It's about fine art. It's like we're not trying to make like, you know, M&Ms. We're trying to make some really nice, fine piece of chocolate or something, you know, and also like collections. Like, we did the pianos in the projects. It was a series of 45s based around pianos and jazz. And then, you know, we did the VIS Cafe and that had a little stretch of a run. And then we did the Love New York and that had a stretch, various EPs and versions. And it's like they're collections and the stuff we did with UNA. It's like we went in to make one song. But that day was just like, we got to do more. And it turned into working for like 2 years on like an album. And then we broke that album into a collection of 3 EPs and have the art, you know, aesthetically match each other. You know what I mean? So the battery comes from the music we create, from the vibes. And then it comes like the music dictates the format that this thing needs to be presented in, whether it's a tape or a 45 or a 7 or a digital or a, you know, the music speaks to you, and then we try to package it up as nicely and as quality as possible, you know?
I'm like moderating a little bit more. Yes!
Yo, peace in the land. It's truly wonderful. Peace in the land. Yo, papers and 9 power 9, check out my pores. Now I'm stuck in Africa, rapper, breaking into galactic laws. Once I pause for the cause and effect, I explode with intellect, get my style perfect. The killer jack stays high, my saliva is lava. Getting burned, trying to fight my style like chupacabra. Black shot is my river, perfect incognito, no hip hop's real. Making the voice of my beat, commercial success, make
You brothers pouring out the beaker. Some are reason to teach and quick with squirts and scripts. Roll the bricks. Kiss from the Adam's apple. Holding at the tabernacle. Most slated in a snap juice. Yo, seducing amphibians. Specializing spitting wax styles. Yo, never walk with the storm of views of life. Intergalactics how we write. It's more than just lights. Powers and I eat the flowing through your speaker. What's that? I eat the flowing through your speaker. Never walk with the storm of views of life. Intergalactics how we write. It's more than just mics. Powers and I eat the flowing through your speaker. What's that? I eat the flowing through.
Man, I gotta ask you about just that aesthetic and that curation that blends from just your love of collecting specifically toys. I mean, you go to Ray West's studio, you'll see everything from Jaws action figures, I mean, the Love Boat toys, MASH toys. I mean, every toy you could think of from back in the day, this guy has the action figure, but he didn't open it. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about that. Like, what inspired that side of it?
I think I've been a collector my whole life, and I held on to all those toys and things like that, and comic books and art, and all that stuff was always around me in the studio. Like, it's like I worked, my studio was in my family's house. I had a blessing of being able to work in my basement, and everything that I grew up with was down there, and we just, that inspiration drew from life. Like, these are things I had as a child, and they're still all around me, and that's, I guess, how I feel comfortable. So, like, things that I lost as a kid, I might find again in like a flea market or a thrift shop or something, but the energy I get from seeing those things and having them around me when I'm working on music, it's like, it's all encompassing, you know? It's a big, even the way they look, like Batman from 1976, just gives me a certain feeling, you know, and the colors, everything, you know what I mean?
So I'm gonna get a little personal with you, Ray, man. Like, so you got that vibe, you got that detail, you got that passion. Do you feel like you see it in your son right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, my son is 7, and he's like, he's not a regular kid. He knows about records. He's into like Godzilla and old stuff that like a lot of kids today are not really into. Like, he and he collects. When he starts getting like Marvel characters, he wants every Marvel character, and he wants it for his collection. And he always talks about that, and I'm just like, man, I don't know if this is a good thing or bad thing, because it's a bit of a curse, wanting everything complete, you know? But yeah, he's got it, man. He's got the bug, you know?
He's already has the collector's mind of, I need to get them all. I need to figure out how to get all the pieces, connect the dots, and have them all.
Well, he's figured it out. Just asked me to get it for him.
Word. Nah, that's what's up.
Nations of the world, brought to you by...
It's way too fly like the ecliptic is when it's seen. Remind me of the new guys at Electric Company. Big little side ID, Willoughby. Silly me villainy and it's ill-built soliloquy, y'all. Came through to do the doom to the crew, confusion crew, remix cube. Metal mass, space mango, purple cake. Found a way to smash the triangle through the circle shape. Faster than a team of apes, microphone gaming. Taller than the solar system, 9 known planet. Yup, enough to leave your mind blown in it. Keep an open mind, don't take things for granted. Dead end, MC, see to be slussed out. Must be still got the will over the eyes, they must mouth. Yo, it's like the gold rush in the south. Beyond, shadow of a doubt. This one is called yikes. Every time we picking up mics, it's like yikes. Every time we blowing up shows, it's like yikes. Every time we taking control, taking control. This one is called yikes. Every time we picking up mics, it's like yo. Every time we blowing up shows, it's like yikes. Every time we taking control, taking control, yo. Only smoke, you don't want to mess with these MCs, cause we remember like ever since we had. But each of us has been a 20-year span now. Even back then, believe what they bring the ladies jam down. Smoother version of Return of the Boat back. If they're up to the science, can say itself too black. Packing mics like pro piece. Style stay fat like obese. Whether red and or off Joan piece. Harbor copy and she's getting real sloppy, y'all. When we whisper town going back and forth volleyball. Yo, we ride track like Charlie Carr. Last thing on my mind is selling my soul on a shining star. Yo, can't even consider it a real tight cat. I don't want to know if I ain't feeling it. Nah, not even a little bit. Half these cats trying to pass ignorance for heaven's sake. But we give them no pity, y'all. Science of life, MF2 down to the kitty ball. Yo, we give them no pity, y'all. Science to the MF4 down. What is called yikes? Every time we picking up mics, it's like, yo, every time we blowing up shows, it's like, yo, every time we taking control of our destiny, taking hip-hop to next degree, yikes. Every time we picking up shows, it's like, yo, every time we picking up mics, it's like, yo, every time we taking control of our destiny, taking hip-hop to next degree, yikes.
So let's talk about Red Apple's the extended fam. You know, like, I know since being connected to Red Apples, I know for a long time there's been a lot of fam that's been riding with you before really Red Apples became a thing and was actual real life. Let's talk about some of the peeps that inspired that side of it to even get to the point where we are now.
For sure, like growing up, I had a bunch of homies. You know, I've been doing music since high school. I got my boy Abdul Jabbar, my boy Moonshine. I got, you know, my whole SP committee from back in the days, my friend Poetic Prince. You know, that's like early times. And then it grew into later with like the YMI crew and my boy CERN and Stock Busy and Phil Maffa. And all these guys have always been like surrounding me, being in and out of my studio, drawing inspiration from all of them, learning from them and building. And yeah, it's like they're still here, you know?
That's what's up, man. So that lets you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is, but it's about your team. It's about your collective. It's about the squad. Who was that foundational squad that came together to build this thing and make it a thing?
Yo, BierWax, how y'all feel out there? Yeah, we in here. BierWax, shout outs to BierWax, shout outs to Red Apples 45. You know what I'm saying? If you collect that vinyl, there's some exclusive vinyls in here that are limited numbers. You should probably leave with one. Come check out the flow up here. Word up. Big ups to Chris and the whole BierWax family. Much love. Yo, we the prolific, all pessimistic, creative vibes alive, native tribe of mine, and your legs combine, yes it feels so right, and your legs combine, yes it feels so right, we the prolific, all pessimistic, creative vibes alive, native tribe of mine, and your legs combine, yes it feels so right, yes it feels so right, yes it feels so right, creative, productive, inventive, we bust this, all over the atlas, kids, mass abundance, hip-hop, we run this, I just say the same, you gotta be timeless in 100 years to know your name. A catalog's building for my family tree. Robinsons I haven't even met yet. Thinking next step, R.I.P. to heaven, wish you a peaceful journey. Blue phone still pump, we forever learning. Word, concerning life and music. This one is exclusive to the real heads who wanna elevate. I use my time to meditate consistently. Since young I was having epiphanies. The music like a jazz cat ridiculously. The numbers are crazy now. I'ma still drop joints, crazy styles. I pay homage. All those out there, massive amount of gems. The realness, yo, feel this, yo. Be the prolific, no pessimistic. Creative vibes so right, in the travel mind. And your likes go by, yes it feels so right. And your likes go by, yes it feels so right. Be the prolific, no pessimistic. Creative vibes so right, in the travel mind. And your likes go by, yes it feels so right. And your likes go by, yes it feels so right, yo. We should live at the BierWax. Get your craft beer, it's all there, right? Yo, I got me me a scout, imperial. That's what I'm saying, that's what it's about. Piece of Chrissy just came from Japan. I'm live on the mic, I got the mic in my hand. John Robinson flows, he got a lot of them. Gonna drop a lot of gems. Yo, that's Mrs. Robinson right there. This is how we do it like, yeah. It's about to be a brand new year, I swear. 19, we coming back so clean, crisp and clean. This is how it's on caffeine. It's on the top of the head, it is in the retinoscope. And you can telescope, and you don't need no telescope. Visual caffeine, it's on it right there. This is how we do. It's on right here. We the prolific, always a lifted. Red apple, snapple. This is how we crackle. Every time we coming back, yo, we out after you. Hit you with the style, yo, yeah, we might catch you. We the prolific, all praise the biscuit. We the prolific, all praise the biscuit. We the prolific, all praise the biscuit. We the prolific.
Let's nerd out a bit, man. Let's talk about some of the gear. You know, I've been to the studio sessions with you. I've been to the crib, lab. I know you're about gear, man. You're about pieces from the SP12 to the MPC Live. You know what I'm saying? What's some of your favorite gear at the moment?
I'm still addicted to the SP12 Turbo.
No doubt.
I got back to my essence of the MPC 2000 XL.
Okay.
So I kind of been rocking with that and a lot of guitar pedals, delay pedals, flange pedals, and like routing my MPC to those before they even go into the board. You know, I bought the Live, I'm working on it. It's like, I was telling my friend Phil, Mafa, I have to clock hours with this thing to give a true assessment. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel right away, but I can never compare it to these other machines that I've clocked hours with. Also been dealing with those micro machines, the pocket operators. I have like 3 of those. Yes, and I have this sampler. They built them in Russia. It's a little red box. I forget the name right now, but it's like a modular sampler. You know, you had to buy it from them, and it's like limited edition things. So I got those pocket joints combined with that sampler. So I'm drawing the samples from there, all going into the effects pedals, and the drums coming from the little drum machines, and it's all running on batteries, and I've been recording to tape. So I got that set up like somewhere, and I got the SP somewhere, and I got the MPC 2000, and like where depending on what I want to do is where I go. You know what I mean? I also feel like JR, like the SP, like the project we did, we made bright music with very limited resource, and it's easy.
12-second sample.
Yeah, it's easy to make dark music on that. It's hard to make bright music on that. And that's what I try to do with the SP12. It's like there's 5 seconds on here. How can we make this fly and bright and upbeat, not dark? And that's easy. We could do that all day. But to inspire with 5 seconds takes a little bit more. So it's like the limitation to me is what it's all about. It's the challenge. The MPC Live is great for the expansion, but I love being boxed in and trying to show you that you can't stop me with this little box. I'm gonna turn this thing inside out. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, man, that's what hip hop is about. I feel like hip hop aesthetically is about, I'm gonna supersede the limitation. I'm gonna have these limitations, but I'm gonna use it to my best ability. But it's ill, because I said 12 seconds, you said 5.
yeah, because the 1200
Jeez,
is 10
5 seconds.
This is 5 seconds.
Wow, 5 sec. Come on, 5 seconds, y'all. You get to make that happen.
We did that whole project, pardon me.
Yeah, man. Nah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, rewind it again, Lord. Let's go to the top. Peace. Peace. BierWax. Yo, there's a war in the heavens, a circle around the 7 year. I'm talking high science, sovereignty scrolls. I'm talking angels surrounding me. Whatever my enemies get the nuts inside the show. No regard for royalty, that the shit be annoying me. Then you see me stepping with my body colored clocks, cardigan and hue of grimace, honey jack, Arthur Guinness. I pray that when me a sentence get a bell reduction. Yeah, I'm used to rumbling. We're talking Jets versus the Sharks, Grecians versus Socials. Authenticity in the room full of posers. I need clarity like fresh glasses and alkaline water. Great mind, wise scientist. My name is Elo. I was placed here to eradicate Leviathan. Fist fight analyst, I skywalk things. These are words of a Moorish king. I said, circle number 7. The elite who's respected. You know our mind's the best weapon. Circle number 7. The elite who's respected. I know my mind's the best weapon. Circle number 7. The elite who's respected. I know my mind's the best weapon. Circle number 7. The elite who's respected. My mind's the best weapon. 1, 2. My name is Elo Kush. I'm glad to be here with y'all tonight. BierWax, my Red Apple 45 family.
Man, let's talk about just the overall perspective of running an independent company in the 21st century. There's pros and cons, you know, there's all type of obstacles and things that you run into being independent. What are some of the things just right off the cuff that you feel like you running Red Apples 45, being an independent, that you learned, like straight up in the trenches? What are some of the valuable things you learned?
I learned if you want to get it done, you're going to have to do it. No one's going to care more about your company or your stuff than you. And it's an ever-changing market. Whatever you think you have figured out today, it's just going to change. Like, you're never going to have something that's in the pocket and on lock. You know, what works today it's already in the process of being changed. So at the end of the day, you got to stay current. You got to stay willing to change. You know what work, the format we use, got to flip it and bounce it. You know what I mean? And it's pretty interesting. It taught me a lot just about myself and challenges. And it's like you said, there's loopholes and things that even if you try to tell somebody else, they're going to have to learn for themselves, because everybody's path is different. You know what I mean? And what you're trying to do, what we tried to do is make great stuff. We didn't try to make a lot of money. Like, we weren't like, how can we give them the cheapest product and make the most money? We were like, yo, it's going to cost a lot more to do it this way, but that's the way we're going to do it because it's going to be better. And I want whoever has this stuff, because they're all limited, to be like, yo, I have this and I'm not trying to lose this. And it's like really well made. And you know what I mean? It's a lot of, it's in the detail, is in there. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that comes with a cost. That comes with graphic designers and people who really care, and you know what I'm saying, paying people and putting in work, and you know, saying no, that's not good enough. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot, you know?
Mystic natural. It's about time we hit you with some substance that's actual, yo. How to get caught in pop prophecy. 2003 in the rain of the GMC. No more moving on the planet like scavenger. Shots smoke code like Gregorian calendar, yo. Defying laws of space and time. Trying to trace my lines over respect the architect. Digital rolling my whole crew over VS. Take the master's whole universe. 3 steps. We stretch across the equator, something major. Universal wild tone. Tamper with your time zone. Miles blown by the lanes just for the feeling. The zip pop, it just don't stop till I make it killing. Now I'm kidding, but for real, the real ain't the same no more. Take your life to next level of a man no more. Take your life to next level of a man no more. It's like that, yo.
We're moving into a new year. 2019 is around the corner, bro. What are some of the things that we could look forward to from Red Apples? I can't not mention We had the VR experience
Yes.
with Epiphany.
Yes.
You throw the goggles on, you go into this
Yes.
virtual reality world, and you experience the music in a different way, man. Like 2019, what are some of the things we can expect to see from Red Apples?
We're going in, I kind of went like, I'm happy with some of the larger quote unquote projects we may have done in the past, but moving forward, I'm really about like my home team. Like we got Dialect's record, we got Elo Kush's record, we got Moonshine's record, you know, I got instrumental records I'm working on, and that's really what I'm trying to cultivate. And I'm not even sure exactly how all these things are gonna transcend. Like, I don't think the same, speaking of the business model, the pressing 1,000 vinyls and shipping them out, I'm not even really inspired by that anymore at this point. It's something else, like you're talking about the visuals, or things are gonna come with other things.
No doubt.
You know, and that's what I'm in the process of with each of these projects and my solo projects, is things like that. You know what I mean?
Nah, that's what's up, man. I'm here talking with Ray West, Red Apples 45. If you're not hip, yo, check it out, redapples45.com. You know, peep the label. It's a vast catalog, a nice curated vinyl catalog, but of course digital products as well. Any last words for you, Ray?
Peace, love, and hip hop. That's it, brother. Thank you for everything, JR.
Peace and respect. Visual Caffeine, we live, we here on the ground, we at BierWax. If you ain't been to BierWax show, come out to BierWax show. BierWax is becoming an institution right here in Brooklyn, New York City. And yo, Red Apples 45, go check it out. The website's right there. Yo, browse through the catalog. Like he said, man, there's a lot that's already there, but then we got a lot to look forward to. The brother Moonshine, the brother Elo Kush, Dialect, and mad more music. You know what I'm saying? They got the joint right now, Tough Gong Records with AG, Ray West. So yeah, man, do your research. Go check it out. Red Apples 45, John Robinson, Ray West, Visual Caffeine.
Peace and love.
Peace.